Now, to rectify the story that I said yesterday, which is why I didn't record it, and to tell the second story with Rabbi Yoel. So the first story that we heard, Aaron corrected me, was listening to the story as Rabbi Itken told it, is, so first of all, it had to have been in Warsaw. Chassidic Rebbe was in 1934 in Warsaw. That makes sense. So the Rebbe was there also there. Our Rebbe was also there. And Rabbi Yoel's parents was 4 years old. And the story, they were going to Yisrael. And were there, Yechidus, Birchas Preda, getting the bracha as he departed for Yisrael. So the story is, our Rebbe asked him, and here's where the story has to be told accurately. The Rebbe asked him, what's the difference between your Cheder Rebbe, the Rebbe in Cheder, and the Rebbe? Which Rabbi Yoel answered that the Rebbe is the Rebbe of all Rebbes. So we pointed out how significant it is that this was the question asked by Rabbi Yoel, by the Rebbe to Rabbi Yoel. Now the second part of the story, or related story, which Yossi Parish told me on the day of Rabbi Yoel's Levaya, he had never heard it before, and that is, we know, Rabbi Yoel said this, did I say this? I didn't say this. Yesterday I didn't say this at all. That Rabbi Yoel left for America, it was Yud Aleph Shvat Tavshin Yud, it was the day after the Stalkers, but they didn't know. They didn't know Israel is ahead and whatever, went by boat. Even to receive a telegram, it was some degree of sophistication at post office. So he didn't know. Him and Oscar Garari, maybe the third, but certainly the two of them came in. Oscar Garari from Kent, the Carlton of Kent. Famous, is Rabbi Yos Chavrus, a big masculine himself in his own right. So they came to America, they find out that these Stalkers. So notwithstanding, it seems that for Rabbi Yoel, our Rebbe was the next Rebbe. It seems that was, nonetheless, he was going to, he thought to go back after Pesach. He came Shvat. So he asked the Rebbe, our Rebbe. And our Rebbe said to him as follows, that the Chassidic Rebbe had alt for his gesehen, saw everything, the future. And he said to come, so to Simon, you should stay, and Rabbi Yoel stayed. And became, of course, from day one, the Chayzer. And the writer of the Rebbe's, I just heard from Rabbi Shapiro, that the very first thing we have from the Rebbe after the Nesius is the stories that he told during the Shiva. It's based on the Gemara that Yoel wrote them, even though he wasn't even there for that. He heard from the Chassidim and he wrote them. He wrote them up and submitted them to the Rebbe. And the Rebbe kind of, edited their accuracy. But they wrote at the top, they don't remember the order of the stories. It could be that Rebbe even wrote that because that they didn't remember. Anyway, Rabbi Yoel, talking about, he even wrote up the very first talk after these talkers. He wasn't even there, but he heard it. So this we know. What was new is that a year earlier, Tavshin Tes, 1949, Rashak, the Chassidic Rebbe's eldest son-in-law, came to Yisrael on a mission. So when he was there, he chazed the Maimer in the shul in Tel Aviv, the Lubavitcher shul. Very long, difficult, Askola Dike Maimer. The next occasion, maybe in Shabbos, whatever it was, they asked him to, again, say another Maimer. The Rashak said, another previous Maimer, you remember? So they called over Rabbi Yoel, and Rabbi Yoel chazed the Maimer, this long, difficult Askola Dike Maimer. Rashak was the greatest pilot. I guess he said other Maimer. But the main thing of the story is when he came back to America, he told the Chassidic Rebbe, his father-in-law, his pilots, about Fola Khan's son, Yoel, that what a gewaltige Kopf, so a tremendous head that he has. The previous Rebbe said, we have to see that he should come here. So the Chassidic Rebbe had a part, as it were, and at least expressed his will. I'm not sure exactly the details, I don't think anybody knows, but in REB YOEL coming here. That result of the story is that the Frierdiker Rebbe prepared already for the Rebbe from the very first moment, his chayzer, to faithfully review and then write up and share his Torah with the world. More stories to come, Be'ez Hashem.